Hey, I got one of the illest exclusives ever.
Fresh, huh?
I got a super cool, candid interview from one of Detroit's greatest legendary rappers and producers. I'm talking about Hush from East Detroit. Woo! Alright, I'm gonna send you guys straight into the interview today, so make sure you guys watch it all, like and comment, and make sure you guys subscribe. You guys are watching on the show, and I'm here with the living legend, Hush from Detroit. How are you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for
Yeah.
being on the show. I'm just gonna kind of ask you some questions, and then, if there's anything you want to add or anything you want to say, feel free to say anything you want, brother.
Cool. Let's run it.
All right. Tell us where you grew up.
So I grew up on the east side of Detroit. Um, most of my life has always been on the east side. Um, I came up on when I was younger over by 6 Mile and Ryan area that's well known to a lot of hip hop fans as Coney Gardens, um, around Jay Dilla, Slum
Yes.
Village. A lot of them guys were my childhood friends. And then my father became a Detroit cop.
Oh,
We
really?
moved we moved closer to 7 Mile and Grass,
Mhm.
but moved back to the D.
Nice.
And so came up on the east side, dog, all day.
Yes. Shout out to the
Yeah.
east side of Detroit, man. Shout out to all
Yes,
them guys
sir.
out there. Heck yeah.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
tell us kind of what it was like and who you hung out with and stuff.
Yo, man, I mean, it was an education.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
probably the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like, I'm a '70s baby, so
Yes.
my time coming up as a youth was around a crazy time, in Detroit.
Right.
There was a lot of stuff going on in the streets, and but those were the days when I didn't have to be in until the street lights came on. And so a lot of times the street lights came on, and I still stayed in the streets, and my
Yes.
parents had to come find me. So that whole time they were looking for me, I was hanging around some real funny individuals, some hardcore individuals, and
Yeah.
just the I say, like, the streets raised me. Like, that's what it's about. It's about being out there, and everybody back then it was a little bit different. You had families that were, they weren't your biological family. They were your
Right.
your friends' families who looked out for you,
Yeah.
and stuff
Absolutely.
like that. So I got an education, just not only just being in the streets, but just on a lot of other things that nowadays are a little bit more. I feel like a lot of kids are more cultured nowadays, and so back then I was getting hit in the face with a lot of racial reality.
Yeah.
Like being my brother and I were like the only white kids in the neighborhood, so a lot of the stuff we were being taught, we're always from black families, and black families teaching us, about race relations, and
Right.
so it was like I say, education is the best way to describe it. That's how it was, and I had a lot of friends when I was growing up.
Mhm.
As I got older, my circle got smaller. I think that's just how it is in life.
Right.
Your circle gets smaller. It's even smaller now. Like, it's
Right.
you start weeding
Absolutely.
out the people that you don't feel belong in your circle, so to
Right.
speak. So
Right. Absolutely.
yeah.
Circle goes from like a hula hoop to a Fruit Loop and shit.
Oh, dog, that's you got that right, man, for real.
That's cool, man. Who did you look up to for guidance back then?
Man, it's weird because my parents were together,
Hmm.
and but my father had a weird job schedule, so he was
Okay.
always like either working the afternoon shift or working midnights. So that left my mother and my grandmother to raise me.
Okay.
But being out in the neighborhood, it was my friends, my older friends, and their older brothers or cousins, um, that I looked up to,
Right.
and just because they had so many things that I didn't feel that I had in my life. I didn't feel like I had the attitude or the toughness or the swagger or the you
Yeah.
know the or even the money, and I was like
Right.
12 years old, 13 years old, and I'm seeing these dudes with stacks of cash
Right.
and stuff like that, and I want the Air Jordans, you
Yes.
know a lot of that was just that's what it was just it's wanting to look up to those guys
Yeah.
and be them and
Yeah.
emulate them,
Right.
and it's kind of like that kind of like that whole attitude, that personification pushed me into rap music, the same
Yes.
way, looking at my heroes on Yo TV Raps,
Yes.
or Rap City or The Basement, and wanting to be those guys,
Right. Oh
yeah.
yeah. Man, I miss those shows. Thank you for being so candid with your answers too. I really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no doubt. No
Yeah,
doubt.
hell yeah. How was school for you growing up? Did you like school or?
Nah, man, I fucking hated school.
Ah!
I fucking hated school. Oh my
Yes.
God. When I got into high school, my parents used to say that they dropped me off. I'd walk in the front door and walk right out the back. But, the minute I found out in high school that you could skip classes, I was doing that shit constantly. Like, um, it's
Oh,
weird though. Like, you find the bits and pieces out of things in life that you cherish, and then the rest of it you kind of like push to the side. And
right.
school for me, I went to Catholic school growing up
Ooh, okay.
when I was in elementary school,
Strict.
and that was all right because that's
Mhm.
when you first meeting friends, and
Yeah.
you're staying the night at your friend's house, and
Yeah.
you're there's all kinds of festivities and stuff that go on at school that you and your friends can all like bond on.
Right.
But then it was middle school where I met my music teacher. uh Her name was Miss Cribbs, and she she was everything to me. Even to this day, like, I still think about her and what she meant to me.
That's
um
cool.
she taught me a lot about freedom of expression and freedom of art and freedom to put your thoughts onto a paper, and it doesn't necessarily have to be for an essay. It could be for a song.
Yes. Yes.
That kind of stuff was very influential to me. But then when I got into high school, um, Miss Cribbs was, she didn't follow us into our high school, but
Oh, it's too
um,
bad.
the one it was because that's where I kind of fell off, and I started.
Right.
The only teacher I ever or class I ever paid attention to. We had a planetarium in my high school, so the only class I paid attention to was astronomy, and it
Nice.
was my first hour, and then after that, bro, I couldn't even tell you any of my teachers' names for the. I swear to God, I can remember my Spanish teacher. My Spanish teacher was cool as fuck. His name was Mr. Markham. It was a cool
Oh
motherfucker.
yeah.
He always called me Danielle every time I walk into class. Good morning, Danielle. Like, that's about all I remember. But yeah, after once I hit high school, man, shit fucking went fucking berserk, and then I started staying out in the streets more, and skipping
Right.
school so I could go in the streets,
Right.
and I was doing some really fucked up shit in the streets. So I was just like, fuck school, and then at when I was 17, uh, my father was just like, "Yo, if you ain't doing shit by the time you're 18, or or what the fuck ever, like you out of my house."
Damn.
And so they put me in like an adult education class,
Mm.
and there was a school on the east side called Kelwood, and I went to school with like a lot. All of us like seemed to somehow sprout into the rap game. So there was me,
Yes.
there was Champtown, there
Dang.
was the ROC,
Yeah.
and then there was my boy Paul, who ended up being Paul Metric and Twisted.
Nice. Yeah.
So like all of us like were like we were all spitting raps and to each other and just
Nice.
all about that shit. That was like 11th grade, 12th grade. And then I didn't do shit with that. I fucking stopped going to that because it was like a work at your own pace class. And I was like, yeah, fuck that. And so I
Right.
stopped going to school there, started skipping school there. And so my father was like, okay, well, you got to go in the military.
Ooh, damn.
So, yeah, so him and my mother, they signed me up in the military when I was 17.
Oh, damn. I didn't know that. Now, I'm hearing some
Yeah,
new stuff, some exclusive stuff.
yeah.
How did, so, yeah, you
That
gotta
that
tell me
didn't
about
that
that.
didn't that didn't end well either, bro.
Oh.
That didn't end well for me either. I ended up hooking up with I was there for like 2 years.
Mm.
And then I ended up with some other dudes that were just like me from their cities. I mean, we're talking major cities like Miami and
Yes.
LA and
Yes.
Vegas and Chicago, and all we talked about was crime. That's all we talked
Right.
about was
I'm
making
here, you're
money and
there. Look.
crime. Yeah, so we got together, we started pulling some robberies and but then we got caught, and
Yeah.
I ended up going to jail for a couple years. But
Damn.
military was a good experience though. I had a good time. It was
That's cool.
if if I'd stayed with it. I was there during Desert Storm, so I was there during the war.
Right.
And but it is what it is.
Right. When you went to jail after that, was it a military jail or a prison or was it regular?
Nah, bro. So peep it. So I was stationed in Guam,
Oh,
which
okay.
is an island between. If people don't know, it's a island between Hawaii and the Philippines.
Yeah, down in the South Pacific
Yes,
there. Yeah. My
yeah,
grandpa was
and
stationed there back in World War II.
okay. Well, your grandpa would know that where a Ghana state prison is because that's where I did my.
Oh, that doesn't sound like a
So
good place.
no, so I did a year. I did a year in Ghana,
Ooh,
Guam State Prison, and then they transferred me to FCI, which is a federal, in Lompoc, California.
okay.
So I did a year in Lompoc, California, and then I came home after that. I came home in '93.
Wow, what an ordeal, man. Jeez.
Dog, you have no idea, bro.
Uh, your parents are like, you're gonna straighten up. We're putting you in the army, and you just, it's like,
Yeah, fooled them, didn't I?
man, just used it to network and shit.
Yeah,
And
shit,
they
fooled
trained you
them.
how to use it, how to be a militant.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know what, man? Uh, a lot of that stuff, you know what I mean? It really, it breeds a lot of things.
Yeah,
A lot of a lot of things for people who go into the military.
right.
You know, either people straighten up, you
Yeah,
know, people can straighten up and want to make a career out of it,
right.
you know. For me, it was a money issue. Like when I was on the streets, I was making sometimes $6,000 a day,
Right. Well,
and
brother, hold on
going to
one second.
military.
Somebody's knocking at my doggone door. I just gotta see who it is. I'm sorry. One second.
Okay.
What the heck? Yeah. Yeah. You too. Wait, here, let me lock the door now, man. I'm sorry, brother.
You're good.
That was one of my homies. He just stopped by. I had to talk to him a second, but I'm
Yeah, it's
sorry.
all good.
I wanted him to do it afterwards, but it's all
It's
good.
all good.
Um,
But yeah, so
yeah,
like, it was just a money issue and making, as much money as I was on the street and then going into the military. The military only
right.
paid me $600 a month.
Wow.
And bro, I made that in an hour
Right.
sometimes. Like, so it was
Dude.
just like getting around other people that were just like me who, I'm kind of built that way. Like when I was a kid, I was influenced a lot by a lot of people who
Right.
would be around me. So that's kind of the way I'd been growing up. I see people around me, they would influence me and
Right.
I would get into trouble.
Right.
But I made my own decisions,
Yeah.
by that time, I'm in the military making my own decisions. I made my own decision to break the law and, it cost me a couple years of my life. It cost
Right.
me to be kicked out the military. I wasn't dishonorably discharged, but I was just like
Nice.
let out on like a general discharge.
Okay.
But you know what, man? A lot of things happen for reasons unknown to us.
Right.
It's in God's hands where He wants us to end up. And I think that if it wasn't for those experiences, I wouldn't even be talking with you right now. There'd
Right.
be a couple other if a couple ways this could have went. Like if I could have went straight and then just never been a rapper.
Right.
I could have I could have ended up dead.
Right.
There's many ways that this could have turned out, but all this led to, I think, my career as a rapper.
Right.
Once I got out of jail, I put my nose right to the grind and jumped into the hip hop scene in Detroit like immediately.
Right after.
Thanks. Yeah, my brother and I were always, always talking about it, whatever. And my brother was like, "Yo, I got some people when you get out, I'm gonna introduce you to." And I was like, "All
Nice.
right." So yeah.
Nice.
So and one of those people that I met when I first got out was Cheddar Bob.
Yeah.
My boy DJ Rec. So
Nice.
yeah, so Cheddar Bob, like, he took me around the scene, he introduced me to people, like took me to all the spots, and then from there it was just on and popping what I was gonna do.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, that was gonna be my next question is when you got into the music part of it. Now do you make beats too? You produce?
Yeah, I've been a producer pretty much the entire time I've been a rapper.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And then because that's a lot of guys don't do that, and that's I give mad props to the guys that do because it's tough making beats. It's tough coming up with ill bars, and when you do them both, man, that hey,
Yeah,
that's
I
a
produced
big up.
everything and anything that pretty much 99% of the stuff I've rapped on has been my
Yes,
beats.
yes, dude, I
Yeah.
love it. All them beats are ill. I loved all of it, and I used to sit there like, man, who made these beats? And then I found out it was you. I was like, yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah, there was a time when I produced some beats for Eminem, produced
yeah,
for I did almost a whole album, a couple albums on Paradigm.
yes. I love
Uh
Paradigm.
and then obviously my group, the Ruckus,
Yeah,
I did
Uncle
all the
Lou.
beats for that. We never got outside production for that group. I did all the music on that. And
Yeah,
now my new group 7182313, I did 99.9% of the production on that as
nice.
well. So
Yes.
I'm still on it, man. I'm
Yes.
still out here banging them out because it's what I love to do. It's fun. It's a passion.
Yeah.
I love just sitting there creating. If I
Yes.
can't I'm a better producer, I think, than a rapper. But
I think you're both. I think you're both.
I just thank you. I mean, I enjoy both, but I think I really enjoy producing more than I do rapping.
Okay.
It sounds weird, but
No,
like
Yeah,
having a career that I've had, that's mostly been known for me as a rapper.
right.
It's weird to hear that, but like I got recognized, for my rhymes, and I appreciate all the love that people have always gave me for that. But
Oh yeah.
I always wanted people to see me, for the creation of it, the production of it.
Right. Absolutely. That's
Yeah,
why I wanted to bring that up too, is because I up until a few years ago, I didn't know that you produced as much as you did, and so
yeah,
yeah, I wanted to definitely talk about that because I was like, wow, and and like I said, I've been listening to you for 20 some years. Back to Detroit Rock City with Paradigm
yeah,
and the guys from D12 and shit. Did you produce that?
yeah. I produced it with uh Denai, Mr.
Okay, yeah,
Porter.
with nice. Yeah, that's a ill
Yeah,
beat. I loved
yeah,
it
we
because
did that together. Yeah.
it sounds like that old school D12ish, but Detroit, just it just
Oh
sounds like,
yeah.
yeah, this
Well,
is the stuff,
they're my friends, so it
right?
was like, if we got around each other and we decided to collaborate on
Yeah,
a track as or collaborate just as guest appearing on
yeah,
beats, if one of the other person was a producer, then we would do it together,
right.
and that was always like that 0.9% of the stuff that I've ever, been a
Yeah,
part of, because there's other stuff that I've done, exclusively with other people on it, but
mhm,
if
right.
one of the guys that I rap with was a producer as well,
Mhm,
we would always say, "Yo, I'll do the drums and put a bass line on this, or
right.
whatever," and then we would just help each other out.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah,
And yeah, I didn't mean to say it sounded like Detroit. Sometimes I mess up my words. What I meant is, it sounds like that good shit that I want to hear D12 and Paradigm and Hush and you guys on together. It sounds like that type of, you know what I mean? That's
yeah,
what I meant
yeah.
to.
We got another song that had me. Well, I had my group, the Ruckus,
Yeah,
Paradigm, uh, my boy Marquise, because we had a group called Generation Tex.
nice,
It was me, Paradigm, Uncle Ill, and
nice,
Marquise, and then we did it with Mr. Porter and Kaniva,
nice.
and it's called Check It. And I think we put that out on like a bootleg album or something like that, the Ruckus bootleg album. But again, like that's one of them sessions where there's like six of us in the room, and we're just like, knocking stuff out, and
Yes,
we did High.
yes.
uh
I
that's
love
another one
that
we
shit.
did, so a lot, like, when they're your friends, we all just hang out, we all collaborate and put it all together, and you know
Yes,
just, and we do it for fun. It's like
right.
when we're doing it, we're just doing it because we enjoy being around each other.
Yeah.
We enjoy, being around, you know what is it, like, steel sharpens steel, like,
Yes. Iron sharpens
you're,
iron. Yeah.
yeah, you're around your other peers, who can
Yes.
make you better.
Right.
So that was always fun.
Hell yeah. And the fact that you guys do it because you love it and for fun, and like I said, you enjoy being around each other. That's what makes the best songs. Those songs are some of my all time fucking favorite songs. Like what they're still on
Yeah,
my
we
playlist.
those
I
are
listen
those are
to them.
songs those are songs we didn't even think we were gonna like put out. So we were just having fun. Like we would just get in the studio, and then we're done with it. We're like, all right, well, what are we gonna do with it? And we're
Oh,
like, I don't know. What you want to do with it? I don't know. We'll figure it out. And then and then like 6 months later, we get, somebody might offer us to put it out or something like that. So that was just kind of how those sessions went, or they were planned out, like, hey,
right.
yo, we're working on an album, jump on this track or whatever. Especially like Paradigm's like my brother from another mother. That's my guy right there. So Paradigm, him and I have collaborated on so much stuff, like, it's just like, there's this synergy him and I have, that when,
Yes.
we're working on a track, he sounds so dope to me, like over
Yes.
over some of my beats,
He
that
does.
I enjoy, like, making beats specifically, that I'm gonna give to him,
Yes.
and stuff like that. That stuff's fun. Yeah.
Yes. Hell yeah. He's also one of my all time favorite rappers. He can rap. And like you said, on your beats, it's like you guys have an energy that you feed off of each other and shit.
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
just works, you know.
Yeah, there's definitely an energy in the room, man. When you get all of us together, because we at the time we like keeping it real, like we didn't really have that many fans, you know. Our fans were other rappers that were friends of ours,
Right.
you know. So it wasn't like we were out here performing in front of thousands of people. We didn't have no record deals. We weren't nothing. We were just, you know, rapping for each
Oh,
other. And so it was that's why it was so much fun, because there was
right.
no money involved. There
Right.
was no pressure, you
Right.
know, to put a hit out
Right.
or anything like that. It's just you're
Fun.
just doing it. You're just, you know, it's just
Yes.
fun. You just get in a room and everybody just say whatever the fuck you want to say.
Yes.
You know, put your
Goofy,
syllables
whatever.
together. Yeah,
Yeah.
whoever we and then try to outdo each other. You know, who
Yeah.
can come up with the illest metaphors, the illest punchlines, you know, the dopest shit ever. And you know, a lot of that times, you know, shit, sometimes somebody get you, you know, and like
Right.
you front and be all up in the studio like, oh, I got this motherfucker, and you front in front of him, but then you get home, close the door, you're like, fuck, you know, he fucking got me on that one, like, you know, like, and then, but you know, that causes me to play that shit over and over and over because I love to hear their verses, you know.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yes, I love it. See, I love that kind of passion for the art, and that's
Oh,
exactly the artists
dude.
I like to listen to because I mean that, and you guys did come up with some of the illest metaphors and punchlines, and that's the kind of rap I like, where it's
Yeah.
bars, metaphors, punchlines, shit where double entendres and shit where I'll get a couple of them, but then 20 years later I'm like, holy fuck, this also meant that. Like it tripped
Yeah, I
me
said
out.
I'm parachuting with Paradigm with a
Yes,
pair of nines, busting at these people we can't see because we're very high.
yeah.
Where's the nine? He's probably with Slim munching on some Harry pie. Yo, he's scary guy.
Then I like the part where you're like, somebody help me out this shirt and these pants because I feel like getting naked and you want to see me dance. Ba-doo, ba-doo,
Doopa
boo,
doopa
ba-doo,
doop
boo.
boo ba doop boo. Yeah,
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 that's one
yeah.
of my
Like that
favorite.
was, and that line right there sums up me and Paradigm's friendship. Like
Yes,
that's how him and I, when we get around each other, we joke and laugh and talk,
right,
and so then you just end up putting it into a song, you know, like it's funny as fuck.
right.
Like, you know, somebody help me out this shirt and these pants. I feel like getting naked. You want to see me dance? That's
Yeah,
like, you know, that's just having fun, and you know,
right.
that's what rap's for, man. It's
Yes,
to you know, you put the comedic elements into it, man, and you
yes,
know even though it may be, you know, you may have some crazy punchlines or whatever, but if you can make somebody fucking laugh from a
right,
song, usually they'll end up playing that shit again, you
right,
know.
right,
It doesn't always Rap doesn't always have to be so fucking serious,
right.
you
Yes,
know.
I
I
like
mean, because
humor in it.
trust me, I got some of the dopest gun bars ever, but you know, I love being funny in my
Right.
raps and being, you know, and having that comedic element. You know,
Yes,
that was a lot of us coming up together, you know, being around Bazaar and you know, like,
yes.
man, you get around Bazaar, you might end up saying some really dumbass shit. That's just people are like, what the fuck did he just say? Did he just say he'd rape a 3-year-old? Like you're
Right,
like, yo, did he put that in a song? Like,
right.
you
In
know,
many of them.
and many of them, right? All ages can get it. Like,
Goats, animals,
it don't matter. Yeah, yeah, animals,
eating a cherry,
kids. Oh man, your grandmother. Like, it's not good. Like,
eating
you
a
know,
girl's popped cherry and shit.
bro, Bazaar said some shit that I was just like, dog, I'll never fucking say that shit in my life. It's
King
just
Gordy
too fucking.
too. King
Oh,
Gordy
dude,
too. That's some
them two,
shit.
you get them two on a track together.
Oh,
You're just asking for it. Like your whole family's getting fucked and raped and fucking slaughtered, and they're gonna fuck your dead bodies and like. But yo, King Gordy is one of the
one of the
fucking illest
illest.
out of the East Side, bro.
Yeah.
He is East Side legend. You
Yes,
know,
he is.
I always wanted to get on a track with Gordy. I never did. I always
That would
wanted to
be
like give
dope.
him a I always wanted to give him a beat, and but you know, we'd end up just seeing each other in circles or being at each other's shows, but we never really got a chance. We've never really even hung out except seeing each other
Okay.
at shows. But sometimes it's like that's just
Right.
the way the rap game is, and
Right.
I can appreciate that man from the distance that we have, but we're only we're like 1 degree of separation between
Right.
Bizarre,
Right.
so. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, seeing them between them two, man, it was like a competition, like who could be the craziest and sickest, and
Sick.
used to love that shit.
Me too. Me too. I get into that. I got a lot of all of their albums and shit, and I got shit memorized. I'm not lying. Real quick, I was listening at one time when I was still at my parents' house, and my mom was outside hanging up laundry, so I didn't think she was gonna hear it. But she
Oh
walked by the
no.
house, and the window was open.
Oh no.
She came in crying, like, "Why would you want to hear anything this terrible? What is wrong with you?"
Parents,
She said to me.
I hate to quote Will Smith, but parents just don't
Don't
understand.
understand. No. Hey, say how? Tell us about the name Hush and how you came up with it and what it means to you.
Yo, when I was a kid, rap names were everything. And so, you go through a litany of different versions of rap names and whatever. And before I went to jail, I was rapping and just to my friends or whatever. And my rap name was Hush Puppy. And it was kind of like I don't know, it was just I was a kid at the time
Mhm.
thinking, and my parents always bought me hush puppies for school. And so, you just try to come up with different names that you associate yourself with.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, used to wear hush puppies. My parents bought them for school, and hush puppy kind of sounds dope. And then I had the idea to I had wrote it all down. Like I'm gonna come out the stage in a doghouse, and I'm gonna throw biscuits into the crowd, and I'm gonna have like a dog bone for a charm, and
Yes.
and all that. And then when I went to jail, I remember being in a TV room and seeing Snoop and the Dog Pound on. It might have been the VMAs or it was some award show, and they came out and performed, and they came out of a doghouse.
Yep.
Corrupt or dads were throwing dog biscuits into the crowd, and I was like, "You got to be
Your
kidding me!"
whole
Like, and
act.
I mean, dude, I had it all wrote down. I
Man.
really had it all. I drew out the doghouse, and then my boy was like, "Well,
God.
like just drop the puppy because you old at this point, and I wasn't old, but I was 18, 19 years old. And I was like, hush. And I kept thinking about it, and I kept hush, hush. That's kind of good. It's it's just a one syllable
Yeah.
word. uh and you know what, it's kind of funny because at the time, uh everybody was like, man, you a loudmouth. So it was like it was like an ironic name, and so I thought, but then I dropped puppy, I kept hush, I got out of jail, and like I said, I jumped knee deep in the rap game, and I'll kind of people in my small circle knew me as Hush,
Mhm.
Cheddar Bob being one of them. um and then I ended up going to, they had a rap convention in Atlanta
Oh,
called
nice.
Jack the Rapper,
Okay.
and I ended up going there. This was like 94, 95, and
Gold.
I met this woman named Layla Steinberg.
Okay.
And Layla, she worked for Relativity Records, but she was
Okay.
well known as the person who discovered Tupac.
Yeah, I was gonna say I
And
remember that name kinda.
yeah, she managed Tupac all through the Tupacalypse Now and Strictly for My album, and up until around the time he went to jail. I think she was a part of his career, but she definitely discovered him. She put him in her poetry classes and all that kind of stuff. And then she got him his deal with Digital Underground and got him put into Digital Underground. But I met her, and she was like, I love that name, Hush. She goes, I just love that name. And I go, really? Like I said, honestly, I said,
It's dope.
I've been thinking about, changing my name.
Oh.
And she was like, don't change it. Don't ever change it. That's a great name. There's nobody in rap named Hush.
No.
And she's like, everybody in that, she was like, cracking on it. She was not on my name. She was cracking on rap names. And she was like, everybody is MC this and MC that and MC this and MC that. Don't change it. Because I was telling her like it was going to be MC Hush. She was like, no, drop the MC. Just keep it Hush.
Hush, yes.
And so I did that. And, I every time I see her, I still credit her with that, like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's cool. I liked how you threw it into some bars too, like something about hush to make motherfuckers shut their mouth or something like that.
Yeah.
Yes. See, I like that. Like, to me, the best rappers always like they make metaphors and throw shit like that in there and do things and play with words, and that's all you guys did is lyrical acrobats. So it was right up my alley, and you guys say off the wall shit that I love.
Yeah, like being an MC, your name is it becomes a part of your story.
Yeah.
So that word is going to be metaphorically put in there many times.
Yes.
In many different ways. I used to take my name and break it all down. I remember I told this dude in a battle, something like, I said, you should have the name Hush. That's going to stand for Have You Seen Him?
Yeah.
And everybody was like, damn, like, so, like you're always, if it had been Hush Puppy, I probably would have got clowned as I got older. You know what I mean?
Right.
And people would have found many ways to break me down with that puppy line. So I'm glad I dropped that because that wouldn't have worked out for me.
Right. Right. It could have not. Right? Tell us about you and Uncle Ill formed the group The Ruckus, right?
Well, it started with a guy named Nacho. It was me.
Okay.
The Ruckus. So the Ruckus is my group, and I started it with a guy named Nacho.
Okay.
And then Nacho left the group, and then Uncle Ill left Champtown. Uncle Ill was with Champtown at the time, and Ill and I were friends, and Champ and I were friends too.
Yeah.
But Ill left Champtown, and Nacho had left my group, and Ill was always at my house. And one day he was like, I had a whole solo album pretty much done beat wise, and we were at my house one day, and I was playing him this song that I did called Maintain, and he was like, yo, you should let me get a verse on that, and then one verse turned into I think we had six verses that he put on 6 of my songs out of 10 or something like that.
Wow.
But either way, I was like, yo, you just jump in this group. Like, he's like, well, you already got songs done. I was like, it doesn't matter. Like, let's just form a group. I think it'd be dope. We're like Detroit's Naughty by Nature almost, and he was like, yeah, let's do it. So yeah, we had really great success with that group. It was a good time, and we're still putting stuff out. We just got back together last year, and started talking about putting things out. We put out a couple singles, I think.
Yep.
And so one of them was a song that practically was done, 20 years ago.
Wow.
And but Posehn or Uncle Ill didn't have a verse on it or something like, I forget how it went, but Posehn or Uncle Ill, one of them, they didn't do it in the studio. It might have been Uncle Ill, and then we just went back in the studio and said, let's just finish that song. It's still relevant today if we put it out.
Right.
And Posehn didn't even remember his verse because it was 20 years ago, but I had a reference track, so I gave him the reference track so he could hear what his verse was.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Don't change nothing,"
No.
like
That
it was
shit was
dope as it is, and
crazy.
yeah, and then we shot a video for it, and the visuals always help
Yeah.
influence push the beat always influences what the video is going to be like. So we just shot a video. So yeah, so Uncle Ill and I we're still together. We're still boys. I think he's living in Florida right now. So we're
Okay.
just trying to figure out how we can make it work and still put out product this year.
Right. Okay. Well, that's good to hear because I always liked the ruckus, and I'm always gonna be
Yeah,
checking for new songs. I was I was watching that video you guys made with what was saying that. Man, that shit was nuts. The visuals were great. The whole video was dope. I like how the music
yeah,
changed when you came on there and shit. It was
yeah,
fucking crazy. I
yeah. My
loved it.
boy Hatch shot that video.
Nice. Well, props to
Yeah.
him then too. 'Cause
No doubt. Yeah,
that was
he
dope.
knows what he's doing with these visuals, man. He's a dope MC himself. So,
Okay.
dope MC who turns into a videographer, he knows
Yes.
how to bring those visuals to life because he's an artist
Right.
himself. So
Hell yeah.
yeah, he made that shit fire.
Nice. Oh yeah, I think that helps when somebody is into it themselves and then they're, doing like you said, he was an artist himself, so he's gonna know, all right, this is how I would want it to go, so that
Yeah,
he's good at
yeah,
it,
yeah. That's exactly how it is. And he's like my little brother. So
Oh
like,
yeah,
him and I bounce ideas off each other and then he brings them to life with the camera. So
nice.
yeah, he did. He
Nice.
shot a lot of my videos last year. Actually, I think he shot like almost 5 videos, maybe.
Wow. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, that's cool. It's
yeah.
nice when you got somebody you can work with like that. It's almost effing priceless
Oh,
when you got somebody
I
good like
would,
that.
dude. I'm not a guy that likes to bounce around and work with a ton of people when it
Right,
comes to things like that. If I got an energy with you,
right.
bro, you can believe we're gonna do a lot of work together.
Yes. Hell yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool. Oh yeah. Who are some of I know this is always a hard question and it doesn't this doesn't have to be your absolute concrete list, but who are some of your top 5 MCs?
Well, they change,
Right.
but man, my top five is they change, bro. Let's just
Oh
put
yeah.
it to you like that.
That's why
Black
I'm always
Thought.
like it ain't concrete or not because
No,
my top
no.
5 always ends up being 10 and
Yeah. Black Thought,
yes.
Royce the 5'9",
Yes.
um, probably Elzai.
Yes.
Um, I always put Jay in that group. And then my fifth is always my fifth. It changes because it changes and different days.
Yeah.
Like I think number five. I mean, like see, it's like to me, Eminem is like the asterisk.
Right.
Like I grew up with him. He's a friend of mine. Like
Yeah.
he's the dopest to ever do it.
Right.
I could put him in my top five, but to me, it's like I don't know where to put him in the top five.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, cause, bro, like, there's many times like I'll hear a Royce verse and be like, damn, like this dude is fucking out of here.
Right.
Royce is the greatest of all time. Like, because there's certain criteria that you're listening for,
Right.
that put those people in that category. But I mean, if we're just talking just a top five list, I think I would round it out with M. You
Nice.
know,
Oh yeah.
but then
Oh
my
yeah.
next five is my next five is crazy people. Like obviously Tupac, Biggie,
Yeah.
and then probably Scarface.
Yeah.
And then man, probably I probably put Coogee Rap in there,
Yeah.
and probably
Oh yeah.
um, it varies. I mean, Rakim or Big Daddy Kane.
Yes.
That's why I say like Eminem to me is like I got to put him at number 11 because it's
Right.
like I have my top 10, but I got to put him like at number 11 just because I just I don't know. I just I don't feel uncomfortable putting him in the list. I just feel like I'm biased,
Okay,
and
yeah,
I don't want to have any bias to this list. And
right,
it's I have bias like because there's different reasons why I think Eminem is one of the greatest. You
right.
know, so if I take out a lot of things that I see that M does, then it's different. But yeah, so well, that's my list, bro. It's I'm sticking to it.
Hey, hell yeah, it's a dope list. That ain't nothing wrong with that list whatsoever, brother. What
Yeah.
about producer wise? Who are some of your favorite producers?
Oh man,
Yeah,
bro, that list is I mean it's the greats.
right.
It's just it's all the greats.
All the greats.
We
Yes,
can name them all. All the greats influence me. All of the
yes,
greats. I love all the greats tracks. I can give
yes,
you I can
yes,
give you a list of tracks from each one, from Premier
yes,
to Pete Rock
yes,
to Timberland
yeah,
to Pharrell
yes,
to I mean obviously Dr. Dre.
right.
But then there's other tracks that I love from producers like Diamond D
Yes, yes,
or even like Lord Finesse.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I mean, there's all the greats
yeah,
they
yeah.
all got influence with me.
Hell
G
yeah,
Period, he's another one. Like, there's a lot that I'm just like, like I'm blown away by. Marley Marl, like who's one of the
yes.
greatest.
Hell
Larry
yeah,
Smith, who did all the Run DMC stuff early on, and Houdini, you
yeah,
know, a lot of my drum kicks and snares came from Larry Smith drum tracks. You
yes.
know, that anytime Larry Smith left a hole, a gap in a song that was just the drums, I stole it.
Hey, yes.
Same with Premiere. Premiere, stop slipping, homie, and leaving your snares open because I'm gonna snatch them bitches up with the
Ah,
quickness.
yes, I love it. You know who I
Yeah.
thought was some of the illest producers was DJ Muggs and DJ Unique
Oh
that
my
did a lot of the
God.
bone. Yeah,
Bro, how can I forget Muggs? Like Muggs, dude, Muggs influenced a
crazy.
lot of the Ruckus stuff.
Yeah,
Like for real, like when the Ruckus was first coming together,
uh,
like you're talking like Black Sunday album was
yeah,
out.
yes,
And so like the beats on that were all in like all that stuff was influential to the Ruckus stuff.
yes,
Like same with the RZA. I mean,
yeah, yep,
how do I have a group called the Ruckus and not
right.
influenced by a RZA beat?
Bring the
But you know
motherfucking
what?
ruckus.
You know who else is Havoc from Mob
Yes,
Deep?
yes,
And but a lot of the times, like a lot of the producers that I liked, we were all using the same piece of equipment, which was my Ensoniq ASR 10 keyboard.
yes, yes,
So all of us use that same sampling keyboard. And so just like a lot of the greats like use the SP12
yeah,
100 and so everybody was that's just kind of how it is, but a
right.
lot of the beats that I like Shook Ones was done on an ASR 10.
Yeah, yep,
Cream
yeah. Almost that
by
whole Wu Tang
Wu-Tang,
album was done on,
all the
like,
whole
yeah,
Wu-Tang was done on an ASR 10.
yep,
Dirt Off My Shoulder for Jay-Z was
yeah,
done on an ASR 10.
nice.
So a lot of the times I hear beats and
Yes,
I'm like, I know that I'm working, I'm right out the gate.
right,
I'm in the right direction,
right,
because I've got the right piece of equipment.
right. Hell yeah. You know who else
Yeah.
was ill back then too was the dude who made all of Bones early shit, DJ Unique. Some of that like East 1999 Eternal shit.
Oh
And
yeah.
it's like, man, what the? I'm trying to find that guy. He's hard. I
And
don't
he
know.
had his own sound too.
Yeah,
I mean his name meant everything as a producer because
right.
he did have a unique sound. But you know who else had unique sounds was all of Esham shit.
Yeah, right,
Esham's production style was the same way. Like a
right,
lot of the stuff that he was working with was all
right.
you
Like
know
Muggs too. You could
all
tell it's
it's
Muggs. You
yeah,
can hear. You're like, that's got to be Muggs.
yeah. They all have their signature sounds,
Right.
you know. Yeah,
Hell
like
yeah.
Pharrell, he always uses the fucking boo, boo, boo. He's always got that shit in his fucking, you just like, oh, there's another Pharrell beat,
Right.
but I know Pharrell's sounds, like I know his keyboard sounds. I know, I
Right.
can always tell like his drums, but sometimes, man, I mean, even Premiere, Premiere always has like the scratch hooks, so
Right.
that's, and a lot of the stuff that, a lot of Premiere's, arrangements and sequences, like I could tell a Premiere track in a heartbeat. But there's some stuff like, I mean, even like Swiss Beats, you
Right.
just know I know a Swiss Beats beat
You
when I
probably
hear it.
got an
But
ear for it too, huh? Because you're a producer and you can hear things more than most people,
yes,
I bet.
1000%, thousand
Yep.
percent. I'll hear. I 9 times out of 10, you play a song, just play the snare.
Yep.
I'll know whose beat that's from.
Wow.
But
Nice.
that just comes from sampling it, or
Right.
sampling snares and sampling kicks and sampling hi-hats, like, for 30 years. So
Right.
you just get in tune with, you're in that tunnel vision of, oh well, I got this from this producer, and so
Right.
you just remember that shit.
Wow. That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
What would
It
you
is
like to
actually, it is cool, man. It's like it's almost like Rain Man shit. It's
Yeah.
weird. It's
Yes.
it's fun. It is fun, man. That kind of stuff is what keeps me wrapped up in hip hop.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
being around that kind of stuff and being able to play this like weird fucking game with yourself, and
Yes.
and and searching and digging, and I mean, you just like go to the fucking, just pull something out, like, and just go, oh well, let me see what's on this, and then
Yes.
fucking, and
Yes. I love it.
find something, and you might go to the same record over 30 years and find
Mhm.
something different each and every time that you grab it, you
Wow.
know.
That's so cool.
But
That I love that about rap and about music. You can just keep you could build so much stuff out of it. It can be so much positive and fun, and it's still, I think rap gets a bad name from some people, and I hate that because I think rap is so positive. So I always like to ask people, what has hip hop done positive for you in your
you
life?
know what, man, it's kept me grounded.
Yes.
It's kept me focused on finally, like, finding something that that I believe in myself. It gives me
Yes.
confidence. Um, you know, growing up, where I grew up, man, like, people ended up dead or in jail. You know, I mean, in all transparency, I'm 50 years old this year. Well, I'll be 51 this year, but last year I turned 50, and like 20 something of my friends ain't here.
Right. Sorry to
They're
hear that,
they're
man.
either they're either gone because of gun violence, they're gone from suicides, they're gone from overdoses. So,
Sorry to hear that, brother.
so hip hop, that's okay. That's a part of your story. You know what I
Right.
mean? They got their story, and for me though, hip hop kept me focused.
Yes.
Um, like I said, it gave me a confidence. It built
Yes.
confidence in me. It taught me how to speak to people.
Yes.
I didn't really, even though I was a loudmouth or whatever, it grammatically gave me bigger words to use,
Yes. Yeah.
and instead of just a lingo,
Yeah.
like, instead of growing up with just a lingo or a slang, I knew to compete with other artists, I had to expand my vocabulary, and
Yes.
expanding my vocabulary allowed me to use some of those words that I had learned
Right.
as metaphors or punchlines or syllables, and learning the definition of them, and then using those words and sentences towards other adults that
Right.
had nothing to do with rap.
Yeah.
So, it allowed me to articulate better with authority. Like, a lot of times when I was growing up, I couldn't stand authority, and
Right.
part of me still despises authority in a way, but I knew how to speak to people who were in authority when they were trying to talk to me instead of me just like, fighting back with slang and them looking at me as someone who was ignorant or whatever,
Yeah.
being able to, respond in a much more articulate way.
Yeah.
And that in turn, which is kind of, it is what it is, but that in turn, I would earn a lot of respect from
Yes.
people. But so at the same time, that that probably, I mean, that between hip hop and my children being born,
Yeah.
there was no greater influence, especially when my oldest, my firstborn,
Mm.
when he was born, it was like, okay, well, now I really got to go. I've got to do
Right.
something, that I got to do something for him,
Right.
and give him a future and something, and being able to
Yeah.
afford a future for him, because
Yes.
like I said, like when you grow up on the east side and you just came out of prison,
Right.
the opportunities aren't really afforded to you. You
Right.
gotta go out there. You gotta fight. It's an uphill battle at that point.
Right.
So I did what I had to do, but hip hop gave me a guidance. It
Yes.
gave me a trajectory, a goal to reach, um, and it kept me grounded. It kept me pushing towards that goal. And a lot of people in the hood, they 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 don't have goals,
Right.
because they just feel like they're unattainable.
Yes. Yes.
So they go out every day and they do some dumb shit that they're gonna get arrested for, or
Right.
or be on the run for, or
Right.
they just succumb to their surroundings, you
Right.
know.
Right.
And I didn't want to be a part of that, and especially like,
Yes.
I wanted to prove to myself that I could actually accomplish something with this talent that I thought I had. So
Yes. Yes.
that's what hip hop gave me, man.
I love that, man. And dude, I really commend you for that. Getting out of prison and and doing what you got to do for your family. A lot of people don't understand what a fight it is. I went to prison for a couple years and got a bunch of felonies, and it's a fight. McDonald's wouldn't hire me years ago. They
Yeah,
said no.
yeah,
McDonald's. I'm like, wow. So
yeah.
it really is. It's a fight to get somebody to
It
give
is
you
a
a
fight,
chance.
man. It is a fight.
So yeah, if a guy can
I'm
make a
glad it's all
business,
behind me though, man. That was
right,
31 years ago for me.
right,
So, I'm just glad it's, that once I got out of jail, that I changed my ways, and
yes.
I never wanted to go back to jail again. So,
Oh,
that was the other big part of it too.
right.
Jail was a big influence on me after that. I just looked back and said, I don't, my brother and
Yeah.
my brother did 5 years also. So,
Wow,
like
that's tough.
both of us went to jail, but we went to jail early, thank God, in our
Yeah,
age, that we had the rest of our life to make better decisions.
amen to that for sure. And I'm glad for you. I'm glad you turned it around.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
Tell us about some of your projects that you have out and the concepts behind them.
Well, right now, the biggest project I've got is this album called 7182313. And it's a
Yes.
project that I've got with my group member Bobby J. He's from his full name is Bobby J from Rockaway. Rockaway being a part of Queens, New York. Almost like a sub part of Queens, like how we've got like Detroit, the East
Brother, this
Side,
is
West
telling
Side.
me there's 10 seconds remaining. Can I send you another invite
Yeah,
and
do
finish
that.
it? I'm sorry to cut you, but yeah, it's telling me 7654. I'll send you another invite right now. This one will end before the hour on this one, but there's just I didn't want to cut you off in the middle and just say, all right, it's over.
No, you're good. So I've got this biggest project that we put out last year. It's called 7182313. It features this rap friend of mine, Bobby J from Rockaway. He's from Rockaway, Queens,
Okay, yeah.
which is a section in Queens, New York called. There's a section called Far Rockaway.
It's a rough part,
Um,
isn't it?
Yeah, there's definitely parts of Far Rockaway that have been, are sketchy. Search MC Search is from there,
Yeah.
from third base. Shock G is from there. Stack
Yes.
Bundles was from there.
Yes.
So him and I have been friends for a long time. I paid attention to his career when he was just a young kid, coming up. And then, I hit him up after hearing some stuff he was doing. Him and I said, "Hey, yo, why don't we try to work on something together?" Because
Yeah.
we've got a mutual friend in Kwame,
Mhm.
the rapper Kwame. They know him. He
Okay.
was known as like the Polka Dot King. Um, but he was also known. He's an ill producer. Went by the name of K1.
Okay.
He did On Fire for Banks, Lloyd Banks.
That's right. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So we had a mutual friend, and we were like, "Yo, let's just see what we can come up with." And he kept on pushing me to. I didn't really want to. I didn't wasn't feeling it at the time, and I think it was right before pandemic or something like that. And he was like, "Yo, let's just do one," and then one turned into two, and then turned into. We always say like it's just it just it spitfired into a 2-year project.
Wow. That's
And
big.
so yeah, so we tried to like come up with a name, and rap names are always what they are, but we just said let's just name the album 718-2313. 718 being the area code for Rockaway,
Rock.
Queens in New York,
Yep.
which is like Brooklyn, Queens, because I know part of Brooklyn
Yep.
goes by 718 also, and then 313
Yep. For you.
obviously.
Yep.
And then so just 718 to 313, Rockaway to Detroit. And then
Yes.
we
Yes.
started putting, people on the project, collaborating, and a lot of obviously I got all my Detroit friends, all legends,
Yes.
and got them on the project, and he got his friends, and dude, it just became like this incredible like group with like a lot of features that represent our hometowns, and
Yes.
so that right now is my main project. We put that out last year. It charted on iTunes at number 24 on the hip hop album
Hey.
charts.
Hell
Yeah, it
yeah.
did really
I'm
good.
gonna go check it out after this. I'm gonna go check
Yeah,
it out. Hell yeah.
yeah, it was my highest charting album in my career.
Nice.
Which
Congrats,
was
man.
great because yeah, it was which was really cool to know because as you get older, you're like, I'm 50. Should I still be putting projects out? And then you end up putting out a project that charts higher than you've ever charted. And we're beating out
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar and Drake albums on
Yes.
the charts. So it's like,
Don't ever
you
stop.
know,
You're a
yeah.
legend,
So
dog.
thank you, man. So we just said we're going to keep this up. We had some really good marketing behind it. We had, an incredible album cover with the
Yes.
RoboCop as Statue of Liberty. And then
Nice.
and then we had a lot of we pulled in a lot of favors, and we ended up on Shade 45, and
Yeah.
we just did we had a lot of charts we ended up on. So that was a lot of fun. Bobby is to me one of the illest coming up
Yeah.
out of New York. He's had a small career so far,
Hmm.
and he's just pumping out verses
Yes.
right and
Hungry.
left. So with other artists and himself, and putting out projects. So he just
Yes.
put a project out called Radio Days with this producer out of I like to say out of DJ Premier's camp.
Sure.
This ill producer named Neff.
Okay.
Neff is like one of Premier's main engineers, but Neff has got fucking ill ass beats, and
Nice.
Bobby's a friend of his, so they just put a project out. So Bobby and I are working. We already started working on volume 2,
Nice. Oh
and
yeah.
we're gonna switch up the idea of the project on the second one. The last one, it was just like I'll do majority of the beats, which I did. I ended up doing like I said,
Yeah.
99.9% of the beats. It was 17, 15 tracks, something like that.
Nice.
Um,
Yes.
this next album is going to be 5 beats, from Detroit, 5 beats from New York producers, and then Detroit collabs will be on Detroit producer beats. New York
Nice.
collabs will be on New York produced
Okay.
beats.
Nice. Hell
So
yeah.
yeah, we're really gonna break it down, you
Yeah.
know, in that sort of, and try to be very conceptual with it. I think we're even gonna bring skits back,
Yes.
you know,
Yes. I
you
love
know,
skits. I love
yeah,
them. And you guys always come
yeah.
up with the best kind of shit from your guys' camps.
I was gonna say it's always based on comedy, so I'm
Yeah.
sure there's something that's gonna be fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
We're gonna pull out for that. So
Yes. There's
yeah,
always, anytime there's skits coming out at any of your guys' camp over there, it's always dude, I'll be imitating the shit and practicing it for the rest of my life, like talking
that's
about it and
hilarious.
doing the
I
impressions.
I had a good one. Well, the Ruckus had a good one with it had Swifty McVeigh on it. It had Bizarre, and had an old D12 member named IQ. And IQ said it was a robbery skit for the song we had called Paper Chase. Right before the song Paper Chase, we like robbed some dude at a ATM machine, and I don't know how this happened, but IQ said, "You know what ATM stands for? All the money.
Yeah.
Give it up." Like, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, no one's ever thought of that ATM stands for all the money. Like, instead of automatic teller machine,
Right.
he called it all the money, and I was like,
All the
"Yo,
money.
that's what it." I thought that was the illest shit ever.
Yes.
I think ever since that skit, anytime I've said, "Yo, I gotta go to the ATM," it was always meant for all the money. It never meant for what it
Right.
was intended.
Yes. I love it. See, those are the kind of
Yeah,
skits that are dope. I love it.
right, right.
Oh man, I love that kind of shit. Tell me, what's one of your favorite things about the city of Detroit?
Oh man, like the architecture.
Yeah, hell
You
yeah.
know, I've always just been wrapped up in like the buildings, and whether they've been burnt down or they're crispy. Like,
Right.
doesn't matter. Like, I've loved all the architecture. I'm a huge history buff.
Yes.
So anything historical about cities, or even history in general. Lately I've been on a real big Western kick, like trying to
Yes.
learn about the West and stuff like that, because my father has been a huge influence on me when it
Yes.
comes to that stuff. And just the history of wars, and history of
Yes.
between Indians, and and
Yeah.
then the Indian culture
Yeah.
in Michigan and Detroit,
Yeah.
and the French and
Yeah.
their influence, and especially naming the city, Detroit, you
Yeah.
know
Like
um,
French Canadian stuff, huh?
yeah, so a lot of the architecture and history is what I love about Detroit.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I could just be cliche and say people. I love the people of Detroit, because I'll say the same thing that everybody else says, because it's just true. It's like there's a resilience,
Yes.
and a toughness and attitude, and a strength that Detroiters have, and me being one of them. You kind of just gotta toughen up your back, arch your back, stand up
Yeah.
straight, and just like go into the fight,
Yeah.
with your fist up,
Yeah.
and that's just the way Detroit's always been.
Yeah.
We've always kind of been looked at like, as, I don't know why, what what I feel like we've been looked at as an underdog, a lot of the time, and I think we've proven over and time again that we are, you know I don't want to say comebacks, but we've always been there.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
you're just looking at us wrong.
Right.
You know,
Because I like the way
so
I look at all you guys from Detroit and UMCs that came up there. It's like I see that resilience, and I see that drive, and like, because almost all, like, tons of my favorite rappers are from Detroit. Tons of my favorite producers, Detroit. And so it's like I see that. It's like you guys have something that just nobody else has got. There's something alluring about Detroit and just something you guys got over there. I admire Detroit. I admire what you guys do and what you came up in and everything. Like I said earlier, it's like a whole big thing. Like I really admire you guys and what you do and you specifically as well. Like you came up in a rough area and you
Yeah, I
made
mean,
something.
a lot of us all came up together the same way.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
we also relate because we
Yeah.
know each other's life. We know each other's
Yes.
struggles. Like when I was
Yes.
coming up with the ruckus,
Yeah.
Bazaar and I were hanging out a lot because
Yeah.
Bazaar and I both got record deals at the same time,
Yes.
with Federation Records.
Yes.
Uh, and so, I was helping produce a lot of Bazaar stuff. So
Yes.
Bazaar, Eminem, same thing.
Yeah.
Like we all, like Eminem and I were homeless at the same time.
Wow.
We both were, we both had babies that were being born 2 weeks apart.
Wow.
We both had baby mama drama. Like we both we didn't have jobs.
Right.
We were sleeping on each other's couches.
Right.
So a lot of what you might like about us just comes from us being similar because we went through similar situations and know each other like that. And so, we, like I've always said, steel sharpens steel. So,
Yeah.
a lot of times when I got my major record deal with Geffen, when Jimmy Iovine signed me,
Yeah.
a lot of people were like, "Oh, he sounds like Eminem."
I thought
And I
you
used to
had your
say,
own
well, if
sound always.
I used to say, well, if you think I sound like Eminem, you would probably say that Elzai sounds like Eminem,
Right.
or Eminem sounds
Sounds
like
like him.
Elzai,
Yeah.
or you know what I mean?
Or
Because
Eminem
we
sounds like
all
you.
exactly. So how do you not know that Eminem doesn't sound like me?
Exactly.
Um, I'm just happen to be the first to break out in that
Right.
major way out of our circle.
Right.
So you know what, man? It's all love. It's
Yeah.
all good. It all helped each other out, and it all all of Detroit hip hop is amazing.
Oh,
And I
hell
mean,
yeah.
even like the Danny Brown sounds like nobody.
Right. Right.
So you got even his beats to me like don't sound like anybody else. But you also got Big Sean,
Yes. Yeah.
and you got Cash Doll now, and you got Payroll Giovanni, and you got T Grizzly, and Babytron even now. So you got a lot of people
Yeah.
coming up that they don't sound nothing like any of the beats that I make, but that's still you can still hear and know, oh, they're from Detroit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can hear that vocal. You can
Right.
know that vocal
I
that's a
love that
Detroit
Detroit
vocal.
rap.
Yeah,
Love it. Did you
yeah.
like back in the day? Did you get to rap and or battle at any of them famous spots like the Hip Hop Shop and St. Andrews and stuff?
So St. Andrews, yes.
Mhm.
The hip hop shop, no.
Okay,
I went to the hip hop shop, and was
but you got
just
to go there and sit though and watch
oh
battles.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah. Like I'd be standing in the
Yes.
back. This
Yes.
was this was before I even like integrated myself into that circle,
Mhm.
and I was just the wallflower in the back, like watching the battles because, um, they did it at a level that I was not used to, and I did not feel comfortable with myself yet, and confident enough to, even though there was plenty of people that I listened to and was like, oh,
I could take
murder that
him.
dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
like like you know, even Bizarre. Like I was like, oh, I could take Bizarre, but do I want my grandmother to be raped in a battle? I don't think
Yeah.
so. Like, yeah, I don't want. No, I don't want to. I don't want to hear that, man. Like I'd rather not because I think he'd battle me and I'd probably quit in the middle of the battle because I'm laughing so hard. Or because hey, I'm gonna tell you what though. All jokes aside, yo, Bizarre.
Bizarre's an
If
ill rapper.
Bro, if you ever saw Bizarre Battle, yo, that dude was no joke as a
Right.
battle rapper. But
Yeah.
people don't, I think people overlook that because he's so funny and so
Right.
sick in
Right.
his rhymes that people don't get a chance to really
Give him his
delve
flowers.
into who he was and give him his flowers as a battle rapper. But
Right.
yo, 8 Mile, Bizarre helped build that. You
Yes.
know, like he was
Yeah.
part of that scene. Swifty McVeigh,
Yeah.
Beretta,
Yeah.
Fat Cat,
Yeah.
uh, you know, there was a lot. DJ Dez, there was DJ
Yes.
Head, there
Yeah.
House Shoes. Like there was so many people that were all a part of that scene that built that.
Hell yeah.
And I'd say I jumped. I mean, I was around when M won the battle at the hip hop shop.
Yes.
When Proof had put him in the battles,
Yeah.
and well, I would say didn't put him in it, but
Right.
coaxed him into finally like being a battle
Wow.
rapper.
And you got to witness
Um,
that fucking
yeah, and I
wow.
I got I watched him win the battle, and after the battle, I remember because if you won the battle, you had to co-host
Yeah.
the next week because Proof was pretty much the host.
Yeah.
Um, and when M won, Proof wanted him to come co-host the battle the following week, and M was like, "Nah, that's not my thing. Like, I just want to go back into my hole and go back to writing my verses and
Right. Right.
whatever." And yo, like next summer he had a record deal with Dr. Dre, so
Wow.
that kid, he was focused on what he wanted to do coming out of that battle scene, and so was Bizarre, and so was D12, and
Right.
and I never got that chance to finally jump into that battle scene because
Right.
by the time I really got the ruckus off the ground, the hip hop shop was closed,
Oh.
um, and and uh, and then it was just like it turned into much larger battles that I
Yeah.
just didn't want to even jump into. There was a battle called Blaze,
Yeah. I remember that.
which was based off of the magazine. There was a magazine called
Yeah.
Blaze, and they had a Blaze battle, and Invincible from Detroit, she jumped in it.
Yeah.
Bugs
Bugs.
from
Yeah.
D12, he jumped in it, and I just I didn't want to be a part of that. I was just so busy trying to write rhymes for a
Sure.
group, and my focus wasn't there.
Oh yeah.
But yo, getting a first hand seat, a front row seat to
God
watch that stuff was a great education for me.
damn. I've watched some of those old battles, man, and some of them Eminem battles too, where like and a lot of that shit on the 8 Mile movie, he really said in fucking battles, like all that
Yeah,
like you better recognize me, like I look familiar. And something about staple stitch you or use a razor to split you and staple it if you turn my facial tissue into a racial issue. Then he's like.
racial issue. Yeah,
Yeah, and then he's like, "You tell all your boys you got beat by a honky," and he's like yelling and
yeah.
jumping around. I was like, "Man, he really did all that shit."
He said something like, in the battle. I forget who he battled at the hip hop shop, and he said, um, uh, "I look around the room and I see nothing but new faces, all in all, because you're getting beat by somebody who's whiter than your shoelaces."
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just like,
Yes.
what? Like, holy shit! Like, I just heard that bar, and I was like, Jesus Christ! And it
Right.
wasn't like we didn't call them bars back then.
Right.
It was just like, oh my god, like that line was
Right.
crazy. That was all like, yeah. I look around this room and I see nothing but new faces, all in all, because you're getting beat by somebody who's whiter than your shoelaces. And I was just like,
Yes.
Jesus
Yes.
Christ. Like, that's when I knew M was on a whole nother planet to me because his mind was thinking 10 steps ahead. I wasn't thinking about anybody who's thinking about what I look like or anything like that and what they're going to use against me. I'm thinking you're just going to come with some hot lines that are
Right.
metaphors and punchlines.
Right.
He was already thinking like, okay, I got to twist this and figure out a way to throw what I am back at you so
Right.
that you don't come at me. And that's how I knew that kid was just out of here. He was on a
Right.
whole nother whole nother level of the game.
It's crazy. Did you ever
Yeah.
find too, since we're kind of talking about him doing that, did you ever find that it was hard being white breaking into the rap scene there?
No,
No?
I
Okay.
can tell you flat out. No, I didn't. I didn't really have any problem with that because
Good.
um, a lot of people know that I'm part Lebanese.
Okay.
So a lot of people, they didn't associate
My bad. Then I
white
didn't mean
with
to call you
Lebanese.
white.
No, you're fine. No, because I consider myself a white rapper because
Okay.
that's what my race is. I'm a white. I'm from the white
Okay.
race. That's
I
I'm
thought
just
so, but
ethnic. I'm part Lebanese, so like I have that
nice.
ethnicity in me.
Nice.
But I you tell Marv One that Marv One's like, you're not white, hush. You're
Yeah.
Lebanese. Like you gotta stop that. And even when I came out, they made sure my publicist always made sure they always like mention, the Lebanese rapper, So I never had that kind of problem, but I never
Okay.
looked at it like that because my mother was the Lebanese one, my dad was
Nice.
the white one. So,
Okay.
they, I just I never really looked at race as anything anyway.
Yeah.
I didn't, to be honest
Yes.
with you, in hip hop, I never even looked at race
Yes.
because I grew up watching some of my favorite white MCs, the Beastie Boys and Third
Yeah.
Base. I'm like, if Third Base and Beasties can do it, anybody can do it.
Right.
Like that Search and Ad Rock were
Yeah.
my favorite white MCs ever.
Yes.
you know and
I forgot
so
about third
that
base.
yeah, that just they changed the game for me. I was just like, oh my god. And now I'm Search and I've kind of developed a friendship
Hell
this
yeah.
last year. So I was just in a video with for him. He's got a single out called Round Here that features actually my homeboy Bobby J.
Hey.
So it kind of put us, and then I put Search on a remix that just came out last year. So
Nice. Hell yeah.
yeah, so being white was never really I never really looked at it like that,
Yes.
and all my friends were all black who didn't really
Right.
see color,
Yeah.
or at least not out in the open to
Right.
me. They never, they always just looked at me as their peer, and we just
Right.
had fun and we were friends, and that's kind of how it was for us in hip hop.
Oh
Detroit
yeah.
has always been hip hop wise is what when I look. I mean, I watch 8 Mile. Obviously, it's like the hip hop version of Rocky,
Right. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. But when I see those Shelter, visuals, I'm like, yo, Cheddar Bob being the only white dude in the room besides you, dude. That was not how it was at
Right.
St. Andrews for us. Like St. Andrews was the most culturally diverse
Oh
place that
yeah.
you could go to for hip hop. You
Yeah.
see white, Mexican, black,
Yes.
uh, Asians.
Yes.
I mean, you saw every culture was
Good.
represented there, and every element of hip hop was represented there. You had
Yes.
break dancers and
Yes. B-boy.
so the b-boys and
Everything.
so everybody was but and everybody was all cool.
Yeah.
House Shoes was white DJ.
Yeah.
Cheddar Bob was a white DJ.
Yeah.
And so you had everybody. Even Dez, DJ Dez, he's I think he's Cuban, part Cuban. So
Okay.
so you just have so many different Detroit bred so many different cultures of
Yes.
hip hop.
Yeah.
We were represented in all shapes, form or fashion.
Yes. I love it. I love it. You guys are also, like I said, it just, after listening to you guys for literal decades and then being able to talk to you on here and being able to just talk shop with you about hip hop, it's so dope to me. Because I love rap. It molded me and helped me get through the hardest times of my life. I don't think I'd be alive if it wasn't for the music that I had.
I feel the same way.
You know?
I know I can relate to you. I relate to you in that way.
Oh yeah.
It molded me. It changed me. It changed me as a person
Yes. Oh yeah.
for the better.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um. You've accomplished a ton already in your career, like more than a lot of people could hope for. What are your goals going forward?
You know what, man? I don't really think about that. Because I
Okay.
don't think I mean, I just want to chill. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just want to chill, bro. Like,
Yes.
you know, I have three sons. My youngest
Hey,
turns
congrats, man.
18 here. You know, he turns 18 in a couple weeks. And
Well, good to him.
yeah, and then then I got adults as kids, you
Right.
know, and you know, I don't have any grandkids yet, but you know, I mean, I just want to be able to relax and
Yes.
you know, just make beats and you know Bobby J and I or Uncle Ill and I and or whoever and just have fun with it. It's not like
Yeah.
I have a there's no intention
Yeah.
before I do it. You
Yeah.
know, it's just if it happens, it happens. You know, us charting on the iTunes chart just came from
Mhm.
I think you know a lot of things involved. Whether that was you know I had rapped in a while and people
Mhm.
were looking for me, checking for it. You know, a lot of you know the way that we marketed it. You know, the way we did certain things, and then having a New York to Detroit connection. Then the list of collaborators we had, you know, their fans wanting to check it out. So, you know, I didn't really go into anything, you know, with any intention, just to put it out and have fun. And
Yes. Yes.
that's all I want going forward, man. I just want to
Oh,
chill. I just want to make music, and you know, if it, I don't even give a shit if it sells. You know, I
yes.
mean, you know, I don't even care. I just want to have fun with it and do what I love. It's in my blood. It's in my
Yes.
DNA.
Yes. Well, that's what makes the best records. Like we were saying earlier, when you guys, like you said, we were just having fun. I didn't even know we were gonna put it out, and those are some of my favorite songs of all fucking time.
Yeah,
So
mine too, man. Mine too. When I go back, I mean, I'm still rocking cassettes. I'm still listening to
yes,
stuff on cassettes, you know,
yes,
and I'm going through my whole catalog of cassettes and stuff that I find. I'm finding all kinds of gems on there, you know, like
yes.
so.
I love
Yeah,
it. What would you like to? Is there any message you'd like to give to young people coming up trying to get into the music industry?
you know what, man? I think you've said it all. You know, just have fun. You know,
Yeah,
don't go into it with any idea. Honestly, like don't go into rap if you want to be famous or
yeah,
you want to get rich. Don't
right.
go into it for that. You go into it for those reasons
It's
and you
wrong.
fail, you're gonna find a disappointment in yourself, and then that could lead to other things and
Right,
that are negative. And don't do it for those reasons. My advice would be, you know, just go into it having fun, no intention on anything. Feel free to make whatever records you want to
yes,
make, and if it works out, great. You
right,
know, if it doesn't, no harm, no foul. You didn't have
right,
any, you didn't have any, you know, anything attached to you that
right,
is gonna, you know, is gonna weigh you down inside personally, your pride. You know, like
right,
it's a lot of people, you know, they try to make it in this business, they don't make it, and then they get bitter, they become bitter at people, they don't get,
right.
you know, then they just go into depression and
Yes,
certain things like that. Dude, if you go into this music business to try to get rich or be famous, you're going to be disappointed 9 times out of 10 anyway.
right,
Because this business is not for the kind-hearted.
right,
It's not for the weak.
right.
Because bro, I saw way more disappointments in my life than I did. I'm talking musically than I did you know, on the positive side of it.
Wow,
When it's good,
right,
it's great. You know what
right.
I mean? But when it's bad,
It's
it can get really bad.
damn.
And you have to know how to, if you're not built for it, and you're not going to know how to navigate this industry.
Wow.
So yeah, so you have to really you know, you got to be careful. So that'd be my advice. You know, just go into it to have fun, man. You know,
Oh,
and
yeah.
if you become rich and famous, that's
Right,
great for you and your family. You know
right,
what I mean? You can put the stones out there for your kids, you know, so that you can lay the path for them.
right.
You know,
Oh yeah. That's
yeah.
dope. I love that. That's a great answer, man. That's the best, one of the best answers I've had on here yet. Is there anything else that you want to just tell us about yourself, or?
No, man. You know, from the east side of Detroit, I'm putting this album out this year. Hopefully, another one with my boy Bobby J from Rockaway.
Yeah,
718-2313 Part 2.
yeah,
Try to get some more music done for the Ruckus.
Yes.
Well, I'm in the process of it right now, man. My keyboard's right here. You know what I'm
Woo!
saying? So you know, I'm making beats on a constant
Yes.
basis, and you know, if you like boom bap and you like '90s era rap, that's what you can check for with all my projects this year.
Yeah.
That's what it's gonna sound like, you know. And if you are that type of MC and you want beats that sound like that, holla at your boy.
Yes. Hey. Hey.
Yeah,
And I'm going to put your Instagram and YouTube and stuff in the description so people can go right to your page from here and everything. And man,
awesome. Thank you.
it's truly been an honor to have you on the Honor Show. Thank you for being on here, brother.
Nah, man, thank you for asking, and thanks for me letting me be a part of your show.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
No, absolutely. Anytime. You always got an open slot on here if you ever have a project or you want to come on here and talk about it or anything. You're always welcome. I'm going to do some
Yeah.
reviews of some of your songs when I get a chance and put them up on there and break some of the stuff down and shit. So I'm
Oh,
just a little
thanks, man.
behind right now,
I
but
appreciate that.
oh, absolutely, man. It's my pleasure. I've been wanting to. I'm just a little behind right now on reviews,
That's okay.
but
Hey, man, just you know, take your time, be patient, and just
yeah,
let God put everything in your
yes,
hands. You know what I'm saying?
yes,
It'll
absolutely.
happen.
Thank you, brother. God bless
All
you,
right.
and seriously, thank you for being on here. It's been an honor, man.
No problem, man. Thank you, my brother.
Absolutely. God bless. Have
All
a good
right.
day, brother.
All right. Peace.
Peace. Woo! Man, that was dope. Thank you, Hush, for being on the show, being so open and candid and easy to talk to. You've always been one of my favorite rappers and one of the, to me, part of the foundation of the rap that I love so much that's from Detroit. Thank you. And now you guys can actually help me out.
You gotta help me.
Hey, all you gotta do is hit that like button. And so you never miss any future episodes, hit that subscribe button along with that little notification bell.